Good evening, Mike Lemero, Camp Dixie Road. Mr. Chairman, I just have a few questions that came to mind as a result of the last meeting.
Sure.
So I'll present them to you and maybe
Absolutely.
we can forward them along.
And if we can answer them, we will.
All right, so I'll just try to get through them here. So the first is in regards to the traffic study. I didn't hear anything to suggest what the impact might be to our emergency response times to locations along the anticipated traffic route, including Zambarano Hospital. Also with the traffic study, I'm interested to hear the effects that could indirectly impact other routes. And what made me think about this is right after the last meeting, that Friday, I bring my son to Mother Hope Camp on the other side of the lake. And I was actually, dropped him off, I came back, and I was down at the end of Route 100 where Dunkin' Donuts is, and CVS had a big 18-wheeler truck coming down, and it needed to make a right-hand turn onto Route 100. I was the only car, I was stopped. I actually had to get into the right-hand lane by George's Pizza, go across the lane on the other side while he tried to maneuver into me. And the reason why I ask, it just made me think, if that many trucks are coming through, I tend to be a little bit impatient. I don't know if everyone's like me. I'm probably not going to go that route anymore. So I'm going to go Nib Road to Jackson Schoolhouse Road to 44 from now on. And I think a lot of other people are going to avoid the same thing. So I'd be curious to see how those, I think there was some ratings from A through F, or whatever the ratings were.
So the question becomes, in the traffic study, was there any other ancillary routes that were considered in that study?
Typically, we consider cut-through traffic when we degraded the traffic operation substantially. In this case, we didn't degrade traffic operation substantially. We did, however, consider cut-through traffic on some of the roads that you just mentioned, Jackson Schoolhouse Road, per se, in terms of whether or not there was potential for this site to cause that. And really, we didn't, the truck route is the truck route. Jackson Schoolhouse Road is not adequate for truck traffic. But we did look at it in terms of employees coming to the power plant. And we looked at journey to work data to understand where those employees would be coming from. And we actually broke it down to the numbers. I believe that was in response to the town on one of the direct questions. And really, it wound up being a very small number that would potentially come from Connecticut side through that may use that road to get to the power plant as an employee in a motor vehicle, not in a truck.
But in the construction phase, was there a study piece saying where traffic would tend to avoid those areas?
No, even in the construction stage, we weren't degrading level of service to a point where we anticipated people seeking alternate routes.
Okay. And any response on the emergency vehicle response times, or?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're not degrading operations out there. We're not causing huge delays, so we don't anticipate impacts to the emergency responses.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next couple are actually related to water. I'm curious, I've heard a lot around testing for, the actual wells themselves. I'm curious as to what regular intervals Invenergy will be testing the adjacent privately owned wells to ensure the contamination has not impacted them, and what the plan is should those wells become impacted in remediation.
In the last meeting that we had, our experts testified that those should be set up. And so I don't believe Invenergy has included that in their plans as of this moment. But that was one of the recommendations of our experts. And then without putting words in their mouth, I think they said it was done on a specific interval. Can you guys fill that in for me? What's that? The question was monitoring the private wells around when they start drawing off of the, if they start drawing off of well 3, that there was a recommendation that it would have an effect on the wells around there, and that it would be monitored, and I don't remember the interval of monitoring.
Sure. Wait. Tom Hefner, I'm a registered professional engineer, working for the town. Yeah, I think our recommendation was that there would be an evaluation study conducted to determine what the radius of influence was, what the chemical conditions were, what the potential was for indoor air impact.
Right, okay.
Right. So, I mean, during the beginning of the test, it would probably be every couple of days. It depends on the duration of the test. We're making recommendations. It's really on the energy side of the coin to come up with a program that's going to be implemented to both prove out that that well is going to work and also to get it implemented so that it'll serve the purpose for providing processed water to the facility.
That answers your question, sir?
Yes. All right, I know I'm out of time. I got two last questions if I can just ask them.
Quickly, please.
So during the last session, Inventory stated that they plan to remediate the contaminated water in Pasco. This statement is a bit deceiving. According to Pasco Utility District's expert, the optimum location to extract and remediate the contaminated water would not be well 3A. It would actually be the location where the plume is at its highest concentration. Throughout this entire process, the entire focus has been to determine what would be required to bring well 3A back in service, not how to effectively resolve our water issue. So the question is, why haven't we actually taken a step back to look at how to remediate the water first and not just bring the well back online?
As I indicated, my water expert was at the last meeting, was not available to come tonight. He will be at the next meeting. We have the transcripts and do get the transcripts of his hearings. I'll make sure he has those questions and be prepared to answer them.
Great.
Thank you.
And my last one is regarding the noise. So during the last session, we were told that the compression station is already exceeding the noise ordinance, therefore the power plant would not be heard. For example, if the power plant is at 43 dBA and the compression station is at 55 dBA, the loudest noise would still be the compression station at 55 dBA. In my opinion, this is flawed reasoning while it is accurate. The specification should be based upon the assumption that the compression station is achieving the noise ordinance. If the compression station was meeting the 43 dBA limit, then the power plant would need to meet a lower specification such as 40 dBA, because if both facilities were at 43 dBA, the cumulative result would actually be 46 dBA.
Well, the problem is what's not contemplated here is the pumping station. So even though they are online, they may be exceeding the noise requirement. That's not these guys. So even though that is already there, and I know it's an issue, it's not something that's part of what the applicant is doing.
Understood, but if you just think about, just one second, please.
And I'm going to answer the second half because I'm hoping I heard Mr. Hessler last time, who said that it is the highest noise that is heard, but not in frequency, but the loudest noise that is heard, and then the other one is not. So it's not contributive, which I found strange.
So and I researched the same thing, and I agree with what he said. Mm-hmm. However, what I disagree with is if the compression station was at 43, it's not their issue that they're not meeting it. So you assume that they're at 43. If they're also at 43, from what I've seen, the cumulative impact comes out more like 46.
Okay.
That's correct.
So my question is why, I guess my statement is they shouldn't spec it if we're trying to achieve 46. It doesn't matter what the compression station is at, they actually need to be closer to 40 to achieve 43.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify something? Spectra has permission from the FERC, Federal Regulatory Agency, up to 55, not 43.
Okay.
So they don't have to meet.
So Spectra Energy, the pumping station now has permission to go up to 55 from the feds. Thank you, sir. Next is